Okay, so some more court updates, guys, and some very important statements and some big updates for Cassie. Hey guys, it's Murad Murali, daily and consistent content. Let's get straight into this without any further ado. So there have been some official news statements in regards to Diddy's trial. It looks like Diddy's trial has now been officially delayed. It is no longer going to be on May the 5th. It is going to start on the 12th of May. And I also now expect the trial date of 12th of May to keep getting pushed back to either a later date in May or an early date in June. This is what I would have expected. This is not what Diddy expected, because it was him and his lawyers who obviously want a speedy trial, and it's them who wanted to put the 5th of May. Probably because a big event is also taking place in New York at the Met Gala on the 5th of May as well. And so this is probably why Diddy wanted this to begin on the 5th, but it is now beginning on the 12th. Not only that, but it's been announced as to why is because jury selection for the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is now going to begin on the 5th of May. These are two important dates that were also added to the recent P. Diddy court hearing. And I wanted to leave this in a separate video because there is another statement in the hearing that is quite confusing to me, and I wanted to put this in a separate video because that initial video would have been way too long. But it states, and I really want to understand this, AUSA Steiner says they have told us they will not seek a trial delay. Combs' lawyer says there is no application with regard to the trial date. Okay, he then says, we recently came into possession of a lot of medical records. We want an expert on prescription medicines. So I don't understand what this entails. Does this mean that Diddy either has some prescription related problems, medicine related problems? Is it related to STD? Is it related to something that he may have experienced either whilst he was at the MDC on knee pads, giving everybody the Glock 3000, especially the men? Or do I feel like he needs this medicine or whatever it is because it's just unrelated to any of this, and it could be related to his spontaneous hospital visit, even though that MRI scan turned out perfectly fine, which is why he returned? I don't know what all of this medicine is needed for, but for the fact that he said we recently came into possession of a lot of medical records, Diddy's lawyer is saying this. What are those medical records? Granted, everybody is entitled to medical privacy, so of course I don't want to intrude, even though I am being nosy and trying to intrude, to be honest with you. And these medical records could be some type of problem, STD, that Diddy might have, possessed through whatever he was doing with people, and it was left untreated. That actually is quite common. There are a lot of men who actually do pass on STDs because they don't get checked. They don't get the 6 month, in my opinion every 3 month STD checkup to find out if everything is okay. They normally just forget about it. They find it quite embarrassing. They don't even want to face it. It's irritating. It's part of your health, and especially as men, a lot of people delay it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this recent large amount of medical records, and you are asking for medicine for your client Diddy, could be something in related to like an STD, considering the fact that he's facing several civil and indictment for SA, and also considering that some of those civil lawsuits, the clients themselves, the alleged victims themselves, and also the clients from the escort agency, all enlisted in the court documents that they were worried about STDs and therefore went to go get checked up. So it could be plausible that he might have an irreversible STD such as herpes, where you would need to take, lifelong medication for when you have outbreaks, and therefore that is something that, they've come across. Or perhaps it's non-STD related and it's a biological issue, and therefore they found this in the medical records and therefore need medicine for Diddy. But I don't think it could be that, because then they would have asked for that by now, because he's been in prison for a while. I don't know. This could be completely unrelated to Diddy, but I feel like it's related to him, because they're saying in the courts, we've come into possession with a lot of medical records. We want an expert on prescription medication. If you're asking for prescriptions, is that for your client or is that for something else in related in the past, and you want to match prescription records to medical records? It could be either or. I don't know, but I just feel like that statement is just a bit off to me. It's just a bit wild that you would need, you've come across so much and you need XYZ. I wanted to throw that in there because it could very much be STD related, or maybe not. Now, in my last video I did say that I feel like Diddy dyeing his hair would be something that'd be quite manipulative. I'm well aware that, you know, as part of him being in prison, he's not allowed to dye his hair. He's not allowed to change that. He also isn't allowed to violate BOP rules, nor is he allowed to access other people's phones and text people, including his children and his lawyers. But he did exactly that. He was able to somehow infiltrate 12 other people's phones, other prisoners, use them and text other people and violate BOP rules. All of that is completely illegal for this man to do. So I feel like if somebody like Diddy, who is very manipulative and egotistical as it is, was able to allow other people to make convince other prisoners to make his bed, or to take over their phones and use around 12 of them, able to successfully use different apps and message friends and his lawyers and other people, then I definitely believe that if Diddy really wanted to dye his hair, he would absolutely find a way to do it. This is why I feel like he's intentionally not even bothering with that or trying to do something like that, because he knows that this also gives him some kind of positive nudge with, look what I've done, I've lived, I've suffered in this prison, look at the jury, look at me, etc. Because if he really wanted to dye his hair, he would have found a way. Because if he found a way to use 12 other prisoners' phones to successfully text his friends and children and everybody on the outside, violating BOP rules, then he can easily want to dye his hair if that's what he wants to do. He can just find somebody, pass some coin, and, you know, they'll do it for him, especially if they're making beds for him, from what reports were saying. That's why I felt like that. But, you know, he also could just not do it because, you know, he's genuinely just not allowed, and that's just, you know, it's just part of the course. You know, it completely could just be either or. Now we have to get into Cassie. Major update for her. We all know that she is pregnant, but she has, you know, revealed through a sweet gallery of photos to mark her partner's 32nd birthday, along with the reveal that they are expecting a baby boy. There aren't words to describe how grateful I am that I get to do this life with you. The laughter and pure joy that I get to experience with you is beyond any of my dreams and manifestations. You've taken care of me and my heart like no other. So happy to have you home again. These past few months were hard without you here, but we are so proud and can't wait to see you shine. So she, you know, of course, she announced recently that she's pregnant, and now that she's announced that she's having a baby boy. I live for all of these positive announcements that Cassie is making whilst Diddy is currently incarcerated and going through all of these court hearings. It could be timely that she released the gender of her baby whilst Diddy was in court, but I don't think that she's vindictive to do that. I don't think she's vindictive like Diddy, who did announce certain things whilst she announced her pregnancy. I live for the fact that she can announce all of this positivity while somebody who did all of these gruesome things to her, from what I believe and from the videos that we saw, is suffering, and she can just enjoy it. So, you know, pretty big update. She has announced that she is having a boy. I even have several other topics that I wanted to add to this video, but I want to make into a separate one that are unrelated to P. Diddy, because of course this video has dragged on and we've spoken about stuff for quite long. You know, I like to keep my videos under 10 minutes so that we keep everything wrapped up and informed. And maybe it's just my ADHD. Let me know your thoughts are, guys, when it comes to this video. Do subscribe to the channel, comment down below, send a tip if you guys wish to. There's a $sign there. You can send whatever you want. It goes a long way. Comment down below and let me know especially what you think about the medical statements that Diddy's lawyers have made. Am I reaching, or is there something sus about that? And also, nobody's really picked up on that in the court hearing, you know, transcripts and dissecting and analyzing it. No one's really spoken about that, and I feel like I'm pressing on the conversation of biological consequences, because most of Diddy's victims now seem to alleged victims now seem to be men, and also men as in general, as a gender, they don't really have the conversations or take the necessary steps to do STD tests and find out what they might be carrying or passing on. And I feel like this could lean towards that from what I've discussed in previous videos. I'm not accusing Diddy of having anything by fact, because I don't know that to be true. So, you know, I'm not saying that he has anything by fact, but medical records are needed, and plenty of medical records were discovered, and you want to inquire for prescription medicine for your client, which means that you're going to be contacting and talking to a chemist for your client who currently is in jail, and you're just letting the judge know because of all the medical records that you found. So what does that mean? What does Diddy have that he needs prescription and help for? It could be anything biologically, or he maybe doesn't have anything. I don't know. It could be a reach. It could not be. I'm not saying that he has anything for fact. I want to make that abundantly clear, but I definitely feel like this particular statement that Diddy's lawyer is questionable, and, you know, we are allowed to discuss transcripts from court documents from a court hearing. Subscribe, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.